Hey guys, here we are again. This is my second video, and today we're going to talk about me learning Japanese. So, before I start talking about that, and I want to make this video short because the other one was way too long, I think. And I want to make like multiple videos every single day, so I don't really want to like talk about everything in just one video. So okay, what is this video for? I'm currently learning Japanese. I think I have a decent level of English, or a decent English level, but I don't think I'm really satisfied with the way I speak, the way I talk to people. I don't think it comes off as natural or good. So I think I'm gonna use this video and other videos as well to have an excuse to use the language and maybe like see what mistakes I do and all of that. So this is gonna be a video about how and what am I doing to learn Japanese currently, and also it's gonna work as a update in my English journey. I would say learning English has been really fun for me, but the part of speaking and pronunciation, I'm really lazy with that, so I should really use something to make me speak and to make me see what am I doing wrong, what am I doing right, maybe even output from you guys. If you have any type of advice for me, how can I improve my pronunciation, what mistakes do you see that I'm doing usually very oh my god, what mistakes do I do like way too much, and all of that. And if you think that you can help me with any type of advice, that is welcome here, because we are here to improve, and especially I am here to improve. So yes, I am learning Japanese. I've always wanted to learn Japanese, in fact more than I wanted to learn English, but I really didn't know where to start and how to do it, and I found it really difficult to do. So eventually I decided that first I wanted to learn English, see how I do that, and maybe have some experience with language learning. I was very lucky because learning English eventually made me find some very valuable resources and people that knew how to learn Japanese. So I find it really good that I decided to learn English first, because in Spanish I didn't really like found the resources that I needed, but that was many years ago. So there's probably good resources out there in Spanish right now that are more available, but when I tried, and it was a couple of years ago, I didn't really find like anything good that was for free, not even like videos. I think the advice was not so good, so I was lost. I didn't know what to do, so I said, okay, let's learn English first, then we can see if we can learn Japanese eventually. And that's what I'm trying to do now. And I'm so sorry if my English it's sounding like a caveman right now. I'm pretty bad speaking. I can understand many things. In fact, I think most of the content that I consume it could be considered kind of difficult to understand for someone that English is their second language. But when it comes to speaking and talking to people and expressing myself, I find that pretty difficult. So I'm so sorry if I'm not coming across pretty. If my way of expressing myself is not too easy to understand, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna try to be as clear as I can possibly be. Okay, what am I doing to learn Japanese right now? Okay, because I'm at the beginner state. I learned katakana and hiragana. I know pretty much every character in hiragana. I sometimes forget some of those, but you can really look them up any moment. Doesn't really matter. You are gonna learn them eventually. They are pretty easy. But katakana for me is like so boring, so difficult, not intuitive at all. So I don't really know too much katakana, and that is a disadvantage. So I recommend you, if you are gonna learn Japanese, learn hiragana and katakana first, especially katakana, because hiragana is everywhere, so you are gonna learn it even if you don't want to. So but katakana is used a lot too, but not so much as hiragana. And for me, I find it not enjoyable at all, because I see those characters. I cannot like memorize them easily like I did with hiragana. In hiragana, I don't know how to explain this, but writing in hiragana is so easy. I don't know, but katakana I find difficult to remember the characters and then write them eventually. So I don't know if you have any advice. You know Japanese, you have any advice with katakana, how to make learning katakana easier, leave them in the comments. But I think I don't like them. I don't think they look good. Like, I don't even know what to say, because I just find them a little bit ugly and difficult to remember, the katakana characters. And hiragana was so easy. But if you're gonna learn Japanese, day 1, maybe day 2, hiragana and katakana, they are a must, because you're gonna use them for what comes next. You need them. You cannot go up without them. I think they are like the baseline. The very, very first thing that you learn is hiragana and katakana. That's like learning the alphabet for English and Spanish and all of that. So yeah, I am also doing some Anki. The decks that I'm using are the Tango, JLPT M5. I'm also using the Genki 1 deck for vocabulary, obviously, and I'm using a deck to learn katakana because I really struggled with that. I use it to remember katakana because it is difficult for me. I'm doing kanji with RTK, remembering the kanji. I'm making my own cards because I find that learning is much more effective if you do your own cards. RTK, you use RTK to learn kanji, but you just learn the meanings of the kanji. The way that you read them, I think you learn them through words. Not like there are many ways to read a kanji, but I find it easier to memorize words that have that kanji than you trying to memorize every single way of saying that kanji. Is not really effective. Okay, I don't really know too many kanjis, but I find that when I learn the kanji and its meaning with RTK, I eventually encounter some words with that kanji, and I can learn the word pretty easily because usually it's related to the meaning, the intrinsic meaning of the kanji, and eventually you learn the different ways to pronounce the kanji, but it doesn't work like individual kanji. So Wanikani, I think, teaches you the kanji with stories like RTK, but they try to teach you the pronunciation, the many different ways to pronounce the kanji. But I don't think that is effective in the long term. I don't think RTK is the best way to learn kanji either. I think there are probably better resources, but that is what I found to learn Japanese, almost, I think, free, to learn the kanji. To learn the kanji, not Japanese. To learn kanji, I find that it is pretty cheap to just have RTK and learn the words in your immersion and reading and all of that, and with vocabulary list too. And you are gonna learn those words. Those words are gonna have kanji that you learn with RTK, and you are gonna learn how to pronounce that kanji with the word, and that is the best way. I think that is what works for me, at least. If you have any other way to learn kanji that you think it's more effective and less time consuming, you can tell me, but that is what I've been doing. Okay, could be better, maybe, yes, but yeah. And I've tried to have some immersion. I don't think it is pretty effective to have immersion so early on, but because I watched anime even before learning Japanese, I find that trying to watch anime, at least with subtitles and with Japanese subtitles and English subtitles, you can learn some words and some the ways to write those words. It's gonna be pretty little improvement because you don't really have enough vocabulary and you don't really have enough practice to understand at least, I think, 30%. For me, I understand almost nothing, so immersion at this beginner state is not the best it's not the best thing to do. Okay, you could really improve without the immersion, and you could eventually introduce immersion little by little. But because I really like immersion, I do it anyways. I just like it. I just think it maintains me motivated, and sometimes I find that I understand little pieces, and that makes me really happy. So I just say, whatever, I can live with that. I can live with the fact that I understand almost nothing, but I wouldn't really advise you to do that, because if you aren't patient and you feel too frustrated, you could give up, and I don't want anyone to give up, and I'm not gonna give up. So yeah, I think this is enough for now. That is what I'm doing right now. I'm doing Anki with vocabulary from Genki and Tango, and for grammar I'm doing Genki, and I'm doing videos with Tokini Andy explaining Genki, sorry. And I think I'm gonna leave those in the description because those are pretty good. I'm doing some more grammar with a book from, I think, I don't know exactly where this book came from, because I found a random PDF file. I downloaded it, and I find that the explanations are pretty good there, so I use that too. I use RTK for kanji, and I combine the kanji that I learn. I find them sometimes in words in the vocabulary decks from Genki and Tango. So I've been learning like at the same time kanji and words with those kanji. That is what I would advise you to do. Learn kanji, learn their meaning and words that use that kanji, so you can learn how to pronounce that kanji in those specific words, because kanji have many ways to pronounce them. It can be confusing to learn them individually, and I don't recommend them. So basically that is what I'm doing. I'm trying to watch anime and things like that, but because my vocabulary is so, I think, so little, it's not really that effective to introduce immersion right now. Eventually, when I can introduce immersion, I'm gonna make a video and gonna talk about the tools that I'm gonna use to make that immersion comprehensive input, but that is not the case right now. So I think this is enough for now. I'm so sorry, my English is so bad. I'm gonna try to work on that as well. Specifically, the way I express myself is pretty limited, so I'm so sorry if you found yourself confused sometimes. I'm gonna try to improve that for future videos, and I'm gonna try to be as clear as possible from now on. And so thank you if you watched this video in its entirety. I think that if you are learning any language, you should leave a comment and tell me what are you doing to learn that language. And if you are learning English or Japanese specifically, I find myself very interesting to know what are you doing, so you can leave that in a comment. See you in the next video. Bye bye.